I'm Vinny Politan. Thanks so much for joining us here on Closing Arguments. And it's time to open up our unsolved case file tonight. And in this segment, we take a look at cases and investigations that need some help. And perhaps a member of the public knows something and needs to come forward. Maybe you saw something. Maybe you heard something that someone told someone who told someone else. I mean, any little piece of evidence may help investigators in these cases. And not just help investigators, but also the families of the victims who are looking for answers and searching for some sense of justice. Tonight, we have a story out of Ohio involving a woman named Darla Kustra who liked to walk to work, and she would walk miles to work in the morning. And one morning, she got up like she always does and went walking on a Friday and then just vanished. But in the investigation, her foot was found. Her foot, but that's it. Only a foot, not the rest of her body. And it has everyone asking, what happened to Darla Kustra? Our great affiliate, WWS, has the story.
On a cold and dark March morning, Darla Kustra was walking to work. March 26, 2010, to be exact. But she never made it.
Years later, nothing at all. Not a word.
Darla had been walking along State Route 57 just after 4 a.m. from her apartment in Lorain to her job in Elyria. That 4-mile walk so early in the morning, that was normal for Darla.
She walked and walked.
Frank Kustra is her ex-husband.
To this day, I don't know. I want to know where she is, sure.
Darla had been estranged from him and their 4 daughters when she vanished. 3 days after Darla disappeared, her severed foot was found by teenagers walking along the abandoned train bridge just above State Route 57. A severed foot and nothing else.
When I found out for sure, I was numb for about 24 hours.
You know, right now, it's a cold case for us. We don't have any leads.
Years have gone by with no sign of Darla. Her last moments, captured on surveillance, show her leaving her Lorain apartment early that morning. Did you ever have any leads in this case?
No.
It took a DNA match from one of Darla's daughters to confirm it was her foot that was found. But searches from the ground and from the air turned up nothing. Weather was their worst enemy.
We were dealing with rain, snow, and slush.
Lorain County Sheriff's detectives monitored the area for days, tracking traffic.
I think the nearest theory is there was some kind of vehicle involved.
That theory involves a vehicle driving so fast it could sever a foot on impact. What may have happened next shocks even the most hardened detectives.
And you take what appears to be an accident and then turn it into something I can't even imagine, that somebody would remove the remains.
The train trestle where Darla's foot was found sits nearly 20 feet above the road. According to the coroner's office, the foot wasn't cut off by someone. And there were no signs of animal activity. No other body parts discovered in the area, not even blood.
I think they removed her body.
And cleaned up the scene?
Yeah, we never recovered any other clothing, her lunch bag, and none of that.
Darla was a creature of habit, never straying from her routine. She left home at the exact same time. She walked the same route. She carried the same lunch every single day. That lunch bag never found. For Frank, it is a matter of finding peace for a woman he loved, the mother of his children, a woman who, over the years, showed signs of mental illness.
They suspected bipolar and like depression, anxiety. Living with a person with mental illness, especially because it's your spouse, it's hell.
The walking, the mental illness going hand in hand.
What normal person would walk miles, I mean miles, to go to wherever she was going.
But with all her demons, detectives don't believe Darla committed suicide. They believe someone hit her and then disposed of her body.
I want to know where she is.
The thing that gets me the most, I think, is when you see how people can treat other people. That's difficult. It's not the way I was raised. You know, it's not the way we're taught, it's not the way we want to live. And then you see what people can actually do. That gets to you. That bothers you.
All right, as always, folks, we have a phone number for you to call if you have any information. It's the Lorain County Sheriff's Office, 440-329-3742, 440-329-3742. I want to bring in our special guest joining us tonight from Elyria, Ohio, Detective Lieutenant for the Lorain County Sheriff's Office, Robert Van Sant. Great to see you, Robert. Appreciate you coming back.
Hi, Vinny. Thanks for having me.
Let's start with this, the story and the facts surrounding her foot. Describe for us this train bridge, where it was and where the foot was found and in what state this foot was in and what you could sort of learn from this one clue that's been found.
Sure. This is an abandoned train trestle. It runs east and west over State Route 57. It's in Elyria Township. Some juveniles happened to be walking that afternoon and they observed it. It sits up pretty high off the road, about 20 feet. From what we were able to gather and what it appeared as though is that she was struck by something very heavy and very fast. It severed the leg from the calf all the way down to the foot.
And so if she's walking on the road and this is 20 feet in the air, what's your theory on how just this one body part ends up there and what, I mean, I know you guys have looked at this, what would have happened to the rest of her body at that moment?
The only thing we can surmise is that maybe it was caught up. It's a state route. The steel mill at the time was booming. It's a heavily traveled road with a lot of truck traffic and commercial traffic. The only thing we can surmise is that maybe it was caught up in the dual axles. After she was struck, it may have flown up and then landed on the trestle. So
at that point, if someone strikes her, I mean, they're gonna realize this, right? This, I mean, it's not like an accident and you don't even realize that you struck someone. Or is that possible that someone driving in perhaps a big rig in the darkness and the wetness, the rain, may have heard something or may not have heard something?
You know, it is possible, but you hope that in your heart that a human being would at least stop for a tragic accident as this. You would hope that someone wouldn't stop, remove the body, and dispose of whatever evidence is left over. Again, we weren't able to find any other clothing. Her lunch bag, she did the same things consistently over and over again with the same lunch, the same lunch bag, the same clothing when she would go to the plastic factory to work. So again, you would hope that someone would have enough heart to at least stop, render aid, call for aid, and you would hope that someone wouldn't just gather up what's left and take off.
So how wide of an area relative to where that train trestle, train bridge is, were you searching, and did you think that perhaps where she was when she got struck?
We searched that whole entire area. It's a wooded area. We had some of our auxiliary deputy sheriffs came out. We did a search. We had human remain dogs come out. We did an aerial search. We did an extensive search for vehicles that were in the area. It's close to the turnpike. We also pulled logs from the steel mill, pulled information from the turnpike booths and the tow booths, and no leads came of anything.
And at that time of the morning, how heavily traveled would that road be at that time of day on a Friday?
You know, it's hard to tell. It would depend on how many shipments were coming out of the steel mill there. So it's really hard to tell on the traffic. There were a good amount of trucks coming out of the steel mill with the logs that we had found. But again, with not knowing where they were going and where they were actually, their final destination was, it's hard to determine what route they would take.
And if someone did strike her, I mean, if they just stop at that moment, call you guys up, I mean, that's not even a criminal case.
Correct. It's an unfortunate accident. That's what it would have been had they just stopped and called and rendered aid.
But if in fact they then did something with her body, now we're getting into the world of crime. People have been posting some comments on social media relative to this as we're having them share the story. Beth is asking about the train and is wondering if the train severed her foot and perhaps she got dragged. But that, as you mentioned, there's no train running on that trestle, correct?
Correct. It was not an active track.
So that's where is this investigation right now? So do you have a cold case unit, or does it just sort of stay with the with the detectives? Where exactly is it, and how often do you get, if at all, any sort of leads or action or movement on the case?
It stayed with us. It is currently a cold case. The Bureau of Criminal Investigations here in Ohio does have a cold case unit. We have reached out with them. They've looked into some things, but other than that, we have had no leads, no calls, no tips, nothing.
Nadine tonight, if she was hit by a car, how would the severed foot wind up on the train tracks? Wonder if they did a scenario of a vehicle, how fast they would have to travel for the foot to flip up in the air, and would they clean up the blood on the highway before anyone noticed without another vehicle passing by, etc. There was some weather that day, wasn't there?
There was some slush and some wet rain, or I'm sorry, wet snow. We didn't reenact anything. According to the coroner, she would have never been able to survive that accident with the amount of lost blood that she had endured, and then just the wound itself. It was a severe wound.
And I'm also wondering, I mean, if a truck or a car is going, 50, 60, 70 miles an hour down the road, they could have traveled quite some distance, and it'd be difficult to even look for traces of blood, I would think.
Correct, especially with the weather. It wasn't cooperating at all.
And Carmel tonight, a serial killer could have got her and chopped up her body, or a big truck hit her so hard her foot came off. The driver could have just drove her body to a ditch somewhere far away. So you're pretty confident that the nature of the wound doesn't look like someone would have purposely severed the leg?
No, the nature of that wound was as a result of an impact. It was a tear, and it was again a blow that she wouldn't have been able to survive.
And has family, friends, loved ones been in contact recently with you? I mean, this is difficult for them. It's been many years, but I'm just wondering how difficult it is for them. Because you really need the help from the public at this point, it seems.
Right. The unfortunate thing is we know that somebody knows something. I mean, with no signs of her being around there, the remains, nothing, no evidence at scene. Somebody did something, somebody knows something. And it's unfortunate for the families, and we have not had contact with them since the incident.
All right, folks. Robert Van Zant, Detective Lieutenant with the Lorain County Sheriff's Office. Appreciate your time. We've got it posted, folks. Please share the story. And if you know something, please say something. They need your help. Thanks so much.